They laugh because they think I am furniture, a lamp, a rug, something you step over when you carry on an affair. Lila calls me the roommate. Adrian, with his teeth and cufflinks, says, "Must be cheap rent." I say, "Free, actually. I'm moving out tomorrow." His laugh cuts. Mira, Lila's boss, hears, tilts her head, and says, "Relationship trouble?" I give her the kind smile I save for burning buildings and ask, "What relationship?" Phones rise like flowers turning toward light. I keep smiling. Smile long. The party sits in the old mill, all brick and softened edges, strung with warm bulbs that make bad ideas look romantic. Helix Tide prints its logo on every surface, as if the building might forget who owns the night. I stand by the punch bowl because no one wants to talk to the roommate. That is a mistake. I'm a suspended city building inspector with time, a good memory, and a very long fuse. I have learned to light it and walk away. I watch the three of them orbit, drawn to cameras and donors. Lila flinches when the roommate line floats back through the room like a balloon with knives. Adrian's hand drifts toward her lower back, stops in mid-air when he notices who is watching. I lift my plastic cup like a toast. His mouth forms the shape of my name and then closes over a smile that says, "I do not exist." It is fine if I do not exist. It is better. You can move faster when no one thinks you are real. When the band shifts to a cover of a song that should have died in college, I slip away to the parking deck. Cold concrete, blue light, echoes stacked like dishes, footsteps behind me. I do not turn, let him come. "Hey," Adrian says, as if we are teammates walking off a court. "That line back there, not cool." "You mean the truth," I say. He steps closer. Cologne like a commercial, cufflinks like small hubcaps. "You won't do anything," he says. "You don't have a badge anymore." "I don't do anything," I say. "I do specifics." A family clatters past, all coats and car seats, and the moment slides back into the shadows. I lift my phone, snap a neat photo of his temporary plate glinting under deck lights and the laminated building pass on his dash. The pass shows an address and a contractor sticker. My heart ticks once, like a tightened bolt. I nod and start walking. He follows 2 steps. He stops when he realizes I am smiling. I think about the way evidence gets born. Not in shadows, not with wiretaps and spy tools, but in daylight when people get sloppy. 2 weeks ago, the Ring camera on my own front door caught a glint at 2:03 a.m., a cufflink shaped like a small gear as someone walked Lila back to the stoop. Sidewalk view only, public street, no audio, within the law. I watched the clip twice and filed it away. You do not need to scream if you can point. I send the photo to myself. I file it where it will matter. I breathe. Night air tastes like cold iron. The fuse glows. I keep moving on. As the story unfolds, hit the hype button. Like, subscribe, and write in the comments. Would you forgive them or walk away? By morning, the gossip has legs and healthy lungs. Tess, Lila's work friend, waves me over at the coffee station and lowers her voice enough to make everyone lean closer. "Providence off-site," she says. Funny thing. They booked one queen by accident. Wild night. She laughs into her cup and watches my face like I'm a TV turned up too loud. "Hotel makes mistakes," I say. "Happens." She shrugs. "Sure, but they looked very rested." Her smile is complicated, designed for likes. She drifts away, job done. I am not a hacker. I am a man who reads what is in front of him. Last week at home, Lila showed me pictures from the off-site on her laptop. I noticed, with the attention you learn from inspecting stairwells, the subject line of a hotel email. A name, a date, a confirmation code large enough to see over her shoulder. The hotel will not tell me private things. They will, however, confirm that a stay existed under a group block and fax a generic folio to their own switchboard when asked to check if a charge. Gabe, the mill security guard, is a talker who hates his job. Talkers who hate their jobs are footbridges if you know how to walk softly. Cole's guest keeps using the loading zone after 10. He grunts as we watch a delivery truck beep backward. Mira's gonna make me write someone up. I told them. People think this place is a hotel. Guest, I say. I nod. I do not ask who. In the evening, my cousin Jonah, a firefighter who carries his kindness like a low flame, swings by with a spare sub and a grin. "Ride along," he says. "You look like a man who needs a lap around the block." We glide past the mill. He points with his chin. "See that door with the yellow tape? Someone wedged it last night. If the chief sees that again, we go hard on the landlord." I step out onto the public sidewalk and take a photo. Yellow tape. Wedge. Door that should swing free. Public face of a private failure. I shoot the angle wide so the world understands where and when it was taken. The world matters. Back home, I print. Permit search on Adrian's loft address. No certificate of occupancy. No final inspection. A stop work order from 6 months ago that reads like a whisper no one wanted to hear. I put it in a stack, neat and flat, so the paper can be heavy later. Near midnight, through the paper-thin wall, Lila takes a call I do not need to hear, but do. "He's harmless," she says. "He's just... Nate." She breathes the word like it's dust. I smile at the ceiling and feel the fuse burn shorter. Before bed, I leave an orange note under Adrian's wiper, the kind that makes hearts jump. It is not an order. It is not a fake. It is a request for reinspection, the template used for courtesy reminders. Bright, legal, boring. It says, in effect, "I can see you from the street." On my phone, I open a public running app and search his name. There he is, grinning under a hat, routes traced like veins along the harbor. Wednesday nights end near his building. People always tell on themselves. You just have to be the sort of furniture that listens. The charity 5K snakes along the harbor where the wind can see your bones. Lila runs in a helix-tied shirt that fits like a promise. Adrian jogs beside her, giving form notes like he invented gravity. I volunteer at the water table with Ruthie, who could talk a cat off a hot stove. She has cut hair in this town for 30 years, and knows where every body is buried, metaphorically speaking. She is also my grandmother, which means she loves me and carries a memory like a ledger. Ruthie bumps my elbow. "You look like a man carrying a secret into a thunderstorm," she says. I say, "Maybe I am the storm." She laughs so loud runners swerve. "Save the poetry for the haircut chair," she says. "Say it plain so the town can repeat it." "Look at them," Ruthie says, stacking cups, like a commercial for heartbreak. "I'm selling a different product," I say. Halfway through the race, the course narrows where the harbor walk meets a peeling banner and a bank of local photographers. I step forward at the right moment and pretend to fumble a shoe. Adrian tries to swing wide with Lila, but he hits the bottleneck like a shopping cart. Cameras click. I lift my head like a man waking from a nap and say, loud enough to carry, "How's the Providence Queen treating you?" Lila's foot falters. Adrian's jaw goes hard. He reaches for my shirt. I step half a foot to the left. He clips the banner. It pops like a cheap sale. The crowd gives that delicious sound they save for almost accidents. I plant my feet and put an open hand on his chest, not a blow, a punctuation. It makes a noise you can hear over the wind. "Keep your hands off other people's wives," I say. "Or is it roommates you collect?" Security arrives with helpful frowns. Adrian mouths lawyer words that wilt in the cold. He backs off because photographers have noticed, and because his brand is lightness. He jogs away with Lila, who stares straight ahead like a page you cannot read until you turn it. Ruthie leans in. "Mira's been pushing a no-fraternization memo for weeks," she says. "HR's got to stop the intern romances. People drink and forget policy is also a person." "Good to know," I say. I walk to the lot and crouch at Adrian's new tires. In the rubber, fine dust like bone meal. Fresh construction lives on skin, clothes, and tread. His loft is still a job site. Job sites attract attention. Attention is a currency I spend well. Before the day ends, I send Mira a polite, anonymous note through the incubator contact form. It is not a threat. It is an observation about liability. Unsafe egress at a property linked by tag to Helix Tide. Photographs available upon request. A whisper that says, if a donor trips on your mess, the world will not blame gravity. Her reply is a single dot. Seen. That night, at 1:04 a.m., Lila texts me from the other room. We need to talk, not here. I put the phone face down. I open a new email and load the subject line with a simple truth. When, not if. I attach nothing. Yet. Night makes the loft building look sorry for its choices. Jonah and I stand on the sidewalk eating pretzels from a paper bag. He is off duty, hands in his jacket, eyes kind. You really want to poke this, he says. I want to tap it and see if it rings hollow, I say. Through the glass of the lobby, I can see what I hoped not to see. A capped sprinkler stub with tape around it like a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. I take a photo through the glass because it is public view. I angle it to catch the building directory with Adrian's unit. On the mailbox, an LLC name I saw on Lila's laptop calendar last week, tied to a wellness pilot at the incubator. Conflict of interest is a clean phrase for a messy impulse. Adrian arrives with his runner's hop. He sees me. He grins like a wolf on a gluten-free diet and walks faster. I do not move. You can control a chase by deciding how fast you are willing to walk. We end up in a stairwell with a motion light that flickers like a lie. He wants to shove. He wants me to swing. I take a small wrench from my pocket and tap the rail with it. A note rings out like a pin tilted on a tabletop. You sealed a sprinkler, I say. Your mezzanine is over live load. Your sauna upstairs voids your policy because you bought a kit off the internet and guessed. Tomorrow you will go to work, smile, and tell Lila the loft is not relaxing right now. Or tomorrow the city, your landlord, your insurer, and your board will all get a tidy package of public facts with tidy photos. You choose the order in which you drown. He calls me names that would dull a lesser man. He grabs my sleeve. I step back half an inch. He bumps a paint bucket with his calf. It spills a gray wave across his designer coat and the cheap runner on the landing. He blinks like someone woke him with cold water. I lean in until he can smell pretzel salt. Laundry's open late, I say. I add one more small thing as we part on the stair. Fire doors want to be free, I say. They panic when you wedge them. Inspectors too. He calls me a name again. I let it drift down 3 floors like dust. As I leave, I drag the wrench once under his peephole, a single line. Not damage. A reminder. A scratch you feel when keys jingle at night. At 1:04 a.m., like the text said, Lila sends another message. Tomorrow, after demo day, we talk. Sure, I text back. We will use small words. I set my alarms for normal hours. Revenge is best served during business operations. Demo day turns the mill into a hive with a PR problem. Lanyards, light rigs, the smell of coffee and borrowed money. I walk in like I belong because I used to, in a way no one here remembers. Last year, when Helix Tide wanted to expand and tripped over code, Mira hired a quiet consultant for a 1-month audit. He wore a suit from a discount rack and spoke only when spoken to. He found a door clearance issue and a stair geometry mistake. He was me. Mira knows that under the roommate costume there is a man. 2 hours before the first pitch, I sent the landlord and the insurer a neat packet of public photos. The blocked door from the sidewalk, the capped sprinkler visible from the lobby. I CC'd the city's generic tip line, not a name, not a threat. In normal times, that triggers a simple retest. Demo day is not normal. I know the rhythm. I know how long it takes a neutral inspector to walk from his office, how long it takes Word to climb stairs. I timed it like a drummer. The inspector arrives at the back of the room. Calm posture, clipboard. The kind of man who likes blank lines filled. Camera people notice him because he looks like a no. Mira's eyes find him. They flick to Lila, then to Adrian. I stand in the aisle where their sightlines cross and smile as if I just remembered a joke. Mira glances toward the mezzanine, where a donor with a navy blazer waits with a checkbook that could mow a field. She is choosing which fire to fight first. I have been in that position. It makes you appreciate clean exits. I knock on the glass. Mira opens the door a hand's width. You should also ask who signed the vendor contract for the pop-up sauna in the wellness pilot, I say. I believe the LLC on the mailbox at his loft matches the vendor you paid. Maybe it is merely an inspiring coincidence. Mira stares, then looks down at my shoes like she is counting something. How do you know any of this? She says. You hired me last year for a code audit, I say. Remember the quiet one? Hi. Her face makes no expression because good managers have poker faces for when the building moves under them. She shuts the door. Inside, hands start making shapes. Outside, I breathe like the tide. This is what the fuse was for. They bring me in. It looks like mercy. It is a front row seat. Mira, voice level. We have a compliance walkthrough in 15 minutes, she says. I want to understand what surprises I should expect. Public ones, I say. Adrian points at me like I'm a stain. He assaulted me at a race, he says. He is deranged. He wants to file a police report and say the word assault like it will erase the other words. I think of the video that shows his hand first, the way order matters when truth puts on shoes. You can call anyone you like, I say. I will meet them with timestamps and weather reports. I put a hand on your chest after you grabbed me, I say. There are a dozen cameras that show the order of events. We can watch them together. Lila leans forward. What do you want, Nate? She says. The way she says my name is surgical. She has decided I am a tumor that once was a man. I wanted you to keep vows you swore in a kitchen with the window open, I say. That failed. So now I want the truth to weigh what it weighs. I lay out the receipts like cards, slow and neat. The photo of the blocked door from the sidewalk. The capped sprinkler cap visible through lobby glass. Permit search printout showing no certificate of occupancy, no final. Screenshots of a public running profile ending at a loft. The salon group photo at Juno Bar, timestamp 3 hours after a text that read, working late. I mentioned carefully that a hotel confirmed a group stay existed, that their switchboard printed a generic folio with a date that mat. It is not what it looks like, Lila says finally. That is the line people use when they know exactly what it looks like. Mira's face does not change. The inspector knocks. She holds up a finger. 1 minute, she mouths. She looks at Adrian. Is the sauna vendor your company? She asks. Adrian starts to talk and hits a pothole. His answer is a long curve that never reaches the corner it promised. That is enough. I stand. We are done, I say. But there is one more specific. Outside under the gray noon, press people wait for something with teeth. I walk Adrian to his car. He thinks I am giving him privacy. Instead, I am giving him a stage. This is ridiculous, he says. You are a small man. This is small. Small things cut, I say. I slap him across the face once, not hard, not lasting, loud. He freezes because his brand does not include this. Camera shutters open like a storm. I take the 2 valve caps from my pocket and set them in his open palm. That is for lying in my kitchen while my coffee was still warm, I say. I draw a single X with my thumbnail in the paint already ruined on his sleeve. Not the car, not the person, the costume. Inside, Mira moves with scary calm. Effective immediately, Helix Tide is placing both of you on administrative leave pending review, she says. Return badges and devices. We will discuss severance if appropriate. Security will escort you after the drill. Drill, Adrian says, as if the word is in a foreign language. As if on cue, the compliance team triggers a mill-wide egress drill, routine after any flagged hazard. Alarms bloom. Lights stutter. Doors unlock with a happy clack. Hundreds of people surge to exits in a wave of annoyed virtue. Lila moves with them, then peels toward the executive stair and slaps her badge. The reader flashes red. She stands, small in a sea of motion, and then the crowd carries her along like weather. At the loading dock, Ruthie starts issuing orders the way only a grandmother with a whistle can. Clear that pallet. You, move those cones. You, stop filming and hold this strap. People obey, because her voice carries every homeroom bell from 1979 to now. She nods to the tow crew, who are from the small garage her friend runs. They document the lift with photos for the file and leave the bumper unmarked. Professional, legal, undeniable. Ruthie stands near the loading dock in a neon vest. She is a volunteer fire marshal for downtown events, because of course she is. She is also my grandmother, and today her patience is thin as fishing line. She blows a whistle that could crack ice and points at Adrian's car on flat tires. Clear the lanes, she barks, and her voice fills the dock like steam. Two tow operators roll a dolly rig under the rear axle with the gentle speed of men who do this daily. Adrian watches as his exit vanishes. Ruthie glances at me as the car lifts. She winks like a knife closing. Later, someone will say the tow was revenge. I will say it was safety. Maybe it was both. Lila catches my sleeve as the crowd thins. Are you happy? She says. Her eyes are green glass in bright wind. No, I say. I'm finished. The dock doors yaw open to cold harbor air. Sirens mix with gulls. Posters peel away from cinder block and fly. For a second, the whole building seems to breathe out. I walk into the daylight as if it were earned, because it was.